insane. Watching for my sister every night. I'ma get them through the rain. God told me I had to sacrifice money and champagne. What I tell you about my life.
Hey everybody, it's Legal Queen LA back again with episode number 2. I really hope that you enjoyed the first episode talking about mental health, and it is still Mental Health Awareness Month. So today we're going to be focusing on women as a whole. And specifically, we're going to focus on rap women. And I titled this episode Rap Bitches versus Their Own Fans for the specific reason that we're going to be digesting today. Is rap music the problem? Are women the problem against other women? And what's going on with all these rap beefs? We can't keep up. So today we have my one and only, my baby sister, Nina Brown, the Ballet Bee girl. She's going to be here to help us digest and break down and talk about everything. I'm going to let her introduce herself, but she is a professional choreographer, a professional dancer, and she's actually the reason why I ended up in Los Angeles to begin with. She sprinkled the Hollywood dust on me, and I've been here ever since. So I'm really happy to have her here. But let's get into the news because, baby, it has been getting spicy in 2023. Most recently, Coi Leray listened to one of Lotto's new songs, and she said, my blunt is big as Coi Leray. And Coi Leray has obviously had a lot of issues with body shaming since she came out into the mainstream. It's very unfortunate, but she automatically took that line of that song as a diss or as an insult. And I believe that's because of the way that things are going in the industry. There always has to be a problem between another artist or a newer artist or a bigger artist. But it was really nice, even though that's what kind of the culture has come to accept. It was really nice at Coachella last weekend. Lotto performed that song, and she actually addressed it and said, there was no diss. I love Coi Leray. It just, it was just a bar, which, I mean, if my blunt is big as somebody else, I guess that means I'm just smoking good.
Yeah. I think that there's always like this tension between a lot of like professional artists when it comes to things like that, especially because of like old media. So like Lotto having issues with other artists. So it's like Koi probably felt like her back was against the wall because of like beef that happened before. But one thing that I could say about Lotto is even when it came to the whole thing about Nicki, like
Oh!
she never wanted it to be like any kind of beef. And so now I feel like she always has to be really specific of like what she says.
And like put a disclaimer.
Yeah, because people take everything that she says so literally, which I think is interesting because we have someone like Drake who will like flat out like diss everybody, and you know what I mean? He brushes that off, but that can't be something that follows suit with the females, and I think that that's really interesting.
That is interesting, and I actually had it in my news to bring up the Nicki versus Lotto because, oh my gosh, I was supposed to bring my Barbie ring to this episode. I'm so mad. It's at home on my vanity. I found it. It is from 2009 because I am an original Barb. Okay. Yeah. Everybody knows.
You've been a Barb since as long as
you're
the reason why I am a Barb.
Barbs. See?
Yeah, like See? We went to that Nicki concert and you got me that chain.
Yes. My inspiration. This is how, 7 is heaven.
Yeah.
That's our thing. My first concert in the world was Britney Spears when I was 7.
Okay.
Fast forward 10 years, my next concert was Britney Spears with Nicki Minaj. How the happened in the first place?
Full circle.
But hello, my second inspiration at 17, And then fast forward to 27, last year I went to go see my man Lil Baby, and he brought out Nicki Minaj.
That was like one of the biggest moments in history, like
Of
for
my
myself,
life.
of like going to like rap festivals or concerts or anything. And like I don't think that me and you could have contained our excitement.
Girl, I feel like that was the best show.
We were like, is she here? Is she here? Is she here? As soon as we saw her, I mean, we were bananas.
I fell through the chair.
We
Do you
were
remember
bananas.
that?
Yes, we were going crazy. The whole room was going crazy. The energy was so amazing.
Because it's the queen. I mean, what you mean?
Right.
But I always say, so Britney Spears was my first inspo. Nicki was my second inspo. I'm scared to meet my inspiration.
Yeah.
And the situation with Lotto really kind of brought that to the forefront, because Lotto is a self-proclaimed barb as well.
Yeah.
That was her idol. That was her inspiration. That was her rap-spiration.
Right.
And she came for her and tore her down.
And especially on Twitter, I feel like I just want to talk about the platform of Twitter in general.
I'm not on there, so tell me.
Yeah, it is like a place for bullies a lot of the time. And it's like especially like the concept of like Black Twitter, and I'm not blaming Black Twitter because they're gonna come for me. But on there, they're just
that's probably only the only Twitter we subscribe to.
Dude, there are just it just is really rowdy and ruthless. And I feel like that's what started a lot of it. And then for the celebrities themselves,
it fuels
to
the
take
fire.
it to the platform was just like completely like, well, this is what they want, right? This is what they want. It automatically, because when other people start commenting and saying stuff, then it fuels the person who's actually the vital person in the debate or of whatever it is. It fuels them because they're reading all these comments, and then that person's like, oh, I didn't even think of that. So then they start going in even more like, oh, that's a good point, you know?
Oh, I didn't even think about that. Now I'm mad again.
Yeah.
I get that. And honestly, like I said, I love Nicki Minaj. Period, point blank. Don't anyone ever listen to this and misconstrue the facts. That's the queen. However, why has there always been a beef with Remy, with Lil' Kim, with Cardi B, with Lotto, with
Yeah,
why?
I don't really understand that either. And just from as being a dancer and being in that community and knowing a lot of people who do PA work and who've actually gotten to work with her, it is always comes from a place of fear when those people talk about their experience on the set.
They're like shaking. In their boots.
Yeah, like I remember one of my friends did a music video with her and was like, yeah, they told us to like not look at her. Like, don't look at her. Don't look at her. And I just imagine how like that takes away from the experience, because as the dancer, this is what you live for. This is what you work for. You're like, I want to dance for this artist. I want to be with this artist and do a big show with them. And then you get into the room and they're just completely not what you expected. Yeah. And another person that I know worked on a set with her, and I mean, they went out of their way, because he was a PA on the set, went out of their way completely to do over the top things for her. Like, she wanted her glam room to have a tunnel.
That rider, y'all better make sure your management or your attorney puts that rider together, because if you want only red Skittles and you want 17 bottles of Bel Air and you want fluffy pillows, then I mean, good God, put it in the rider.
Well, what they basically did was built her a stage, like a hallway.
An underground railroad.
Basically, built her this like transportation segue thing for her to get from glam to set, so they didn't have to deal with, or so she didn't have to deal with like anybody. You know, anybody looking at her, or you know, I feel like that's a narrative that they don't want people to look at her, but like I think that she was just trying to like protect herself. And that's where I think I was like trying to go with this, like, because I see both sides. Like, she is herself, right? She is one of the biggest female artists in our generation right now, And I couldn't imagine, because she came into the game in the 2010s, right? Or even
Yeah, like
maybe before.
09, 08.
Yeah, around that time. Like, I can't imagine all of the things that she went through.
Mhm.
And being one of the, cuz she was a
She's the
breakthrough.
pioneer.
Right,
Mhm.
she was like a breakthrough, and kind of like was setting the tone in a group like
YMCMB.
YMCMB. Yeah, and being in there and being like the only female artist, I can just only imagine all of the trials and tribulations that she went through in those spaces, and just being such a sensation. People being like just all over her and wanting to touch
Yeah,
her, and you know what I mean? That could be deprecating.
it
I
could.
can only
But
imagine.
but at the same time, I've met plenty of famous people and famous women. Like Cardi, I feel like that's my bitch. We could be best friends. We can hang out on the weekend because she's down to earth. She's gonna be like, yo, like, what's up? You know?
Yeah, I feel like just because she's just a humble person in
Mm-hmm.
general, it seems like, and she's
And
always
I've never
been.
chosen between Cardi and Nicki. Y'all not gonna make me do it. I gotta keep disclaiming
Yeah,
because y'all not gonna be in my comments talking about no.
Cardi has always been her most authentic self when it comes
Yeah,
to like being honest about where she comes from. And yeah, I got my teeth fixed. And you know what I mean? She was more of an Instagram personality before she
yeah.
came a music sensation. And I think with that, like, it's not even something that she could hide. So she was like, I'm just gonna always be true to myself, and like, I'm this is where I'm from. This is what I'm talking about. Like, you know what I mean? That's very much what she carries. And I feel like that is what made her brand so spectacular. When, as far as like Nicki, she has always been around like Young Money and that whole crowd, and they were superstars.
Hmm.
And like I said, her being the only female, she was like, yeah, I'm that
She's the
one.
princess.
Yeah, she was very much a
Hmm.
princess. And I think it's just because they're both from New York. So I
Hmm.
couldn't say like the actual background. I'm saying about how they both have presented themselves to the world.
And how they
And
came about. Yeah,
right, because Cardi's has always been very authentic and very like, this is who we are. We Black, we're in it, like, you know what I mean? To where I feel like Nicki has been by the public kind of made to conform almost
mm.
into, cuz like, I don't know, I don't want to say this without like saying it wrong, but like, I don't know, I just feel like Nicki has always had to put on, especially because she came in at the time that she was, which was very like
And
a
she had to
white.
fight.
Yeah, it was
She had
just
to fight.
she was, yes, and it was very like whitewashed.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? At that time,
Hmm.
like the black culture wasn't like the forefront at that time in history
Yeah,
as it is now.
yeah.
So,
That's
I
true.
think all those factors.
And since we mentioned YMCMB, Nicki Minaj just broke another record because again, hats off to the queen. She is the artist, or I'm sorry, the rapper with the most number one hits in digital song sales history, surpassing her YMCMB counterpart, Drake.
Really?
Surpassing Drizzy.
Actually, she
Yes.
deserves it, because I feel like, I am not a chooser, because I don't feel like it should be a
Either
women
or.
should be a
Yeah.
choice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So she definitely deserves it. And I mean, she has so many slaps. Like, you know how people have albums and like only two of them make number one?
Mm-hmm.
She has released albums and there's
Mm.
been so many
I'll
hits
never
on
forget when
each.
I went and stood in line to buy the Pink Friday CD on Pink Friday. I mean Black Friday on Pink Friday, along with my Barbie chain and my Barbie ring on.
I had
Okay.
a Pink Friday necklace. Yours said Barbie
Mm-hmm.
and mine said
Pink
Pink
Friday. Hell
Friday.
yeah. Hell
Yes.
yeah. And I went
So,
to school with the pink wig, pink, what was it? Pink wig, thick, give them whiplash. I went to high school with my fake butt and my pink wig and my chain for senior something something day. Like
senior,
y'all,
you know
y'all
what I
really couldn't
mean?
tell me nothing.
Cosplay day at school.
Whatever it is. I mean, hey, but you know who we haven't mentioned and who I really appreciate Meg, Big
Love her.
Meg,
Love her.
she actually came to the forefront and said, "I do not bring other females down." Like, she refused to be put in a box with beef or anything. And I think that that's a big power stance for her to take.
Yeah.
But she did bring up a really interesting point, since we were just talking about Twitter and how Black Twitter kind of fuels fires and creates fires. She actually put out an article stating that the source of much of the friction between female rappers comes from the fans.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's what did she say? I feel like when you know your friend might not feel so good about somebody, you go out of your way like, okay, I'm not fucking with you. And, you know, there's toxic fans that want people to fight, and they want their little, what is it? Not a, I don't even know, an insult, their little
Little like agenda, like
comments, their
comments.
critiques, whatever. They just want to voice their opinions. And on Twitter, I mean, one tweet could have 2 million retweets by tomorrow.
Yeah.
You know, and then it gets to a point. A lot of the times the artists don't acknowledge things, but when it gets, you know, they get mentioned in something 5,000 times. I mean, what is the point
Yeah.
where you respond, or
Right.
what is the point where you validate it?
Yeah.
You know, and I think the City Girls, Young Miami particularly, has done a really good job of basically saying, I don't give a
Yeah. She
um
follows the Kardashian rules.
yeah, like, I don't care. And I wish I would have gotten this clip. She she put up a video, and she was like, the crazy part is, I really don't fuck. And she was like, fuck, red fuck, fuck. I don't care.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna care. And she's hilarious. Carisha, please. I love her. But I think her and Meg both have done really well at, like, staying out of that drama beef.
Yeah, Meg has
stuff.
had such a hard time. Like, that girl just wants to make music
She just want to live
and be with her man. And they have just tried to make a mockery out of her and, you know, the things that she stands for. And I feel like that is just so upsetting, and it really takes away from, you know what I mean? As fans, we want her to make more music, but then her fans is the same people who are bullying her.
Yeah.
So,
and you know, there was this article, this like kind of write up about Meg speaking up against Tory Lanez and Meghan Markle speaking up against the royal family, and it was like, when a Black woman says it, all hell breaks loose.
Yeah.
But if someone else got shot,
Right.
or if someone else got ousted from a country,
Yeah.
we would care.
Right.
You know? So I don't know. But while we're talking about building people up and not women versus women, I want to highlight some of the newest up and coming rap shorties, because there's a lot of them, and we know two of them personally.
Yes.
The Two-Tone Twins.
Two-Tone Twins. Shout out the Two-Tone Twins. Those are my favorite girls. I think that I love so much about them is that they are themselves.
Always.
Like, they do not care. They finna be them no matter what, and they're a lot of fun, and their glam's always on and they can dance. So yeah, I really love them. Shout out to Two-Tone Twins.
They're Latinas. They're from Orange County.
I thought it was Long Beach.
Orange County, Long Beach, the south of LA.
Yeah.
They're lit.
They are lit.
They're definitely, I think they deserve a bigger platform than they have. So I love you guys. And a couple of my favorites now are Gloss Up. She's in Quality Control.
Yeah.
Gloss Up.
That Shibuya is actually
Shibuya.
hits. It hits because that whole like, when I listened to the beginning of the song, I was like, what finna happen?
Right? And they went crazy.
They went crazy. And you know what's so crazy? I had this like little vision that, you know who would have been really good on there too as a remix? Maybe Bia.
You know,
maybe
I have some things to say about Bia, because and I was gonna save this for later, but I'll give us a little preview. Bia is hard,
Yeah.
but she delivers softly,
Right.
and I like that.
Yeah.
It's like soft and sexual, but it's still I'll fuck you up.
Yeah, it's just very alpha female. It's
Mhm.
very
But
I like her a
classy.
lot. Yeah,
But
she's
classy.
classy.
Yeah.
She's a little bit more bougie
Mhm.
on that side,
Mhm.
which I really appreciate about her.
I also like
Classy.
Nicki Natural. She's from Miami. And I love Maya the Dawn. She put out what is it called? Dusties. She said,
I'll have to listen to that one.
you don't got a job, but you work in my nerves. And I said, whoa, I can think of a few.
Yeah, the girl the Florida girls, they're really coming up a lot right now.
Shout out to me.
You know, but their ratchetness is just something that they really own.
Florida is a different country.
They are so
Florida's
different
a
down
different
there, for sure. But the Florida girls are definitely coming up a lot. Isn't that where Big Sexy is from?
I know Big Sexy's from the South.
I'm pretty sure Big Sexy's from Florida.
Go ahead, look it up. Big Sexy she's so funny. She's so funny to me.
And then Suki, they have to be because Suki's from Miami, I believe.
Well, I love to hear it.
Yeah.
Let's confirm because yeah, Suki. I actually just watched her interview with Jason Lee, and she was talking about similar to us. How whenever she met Cardi, she was in the WAP video. Did you know that?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, she was in the WAP video, and Cardi like kind of was like, "No, I like her. I want her to be in more of the video. We got to put her in some more." And I think Ruby Rose and I think Lotto were in there too. But she was like, Cardi is such a genuine person. She has
It's
no
called Sexy Red. I'm messing it up.
Big Sexy is what her chain says though.
Sexy Red.
We knew what she was talking about. Sexy Red. But she was like, Cardi is so nice and she always supports me and she always shares my stuff and she doesn't have a reason to. She doesn't need to, but she's real and she's nice. So I appreciated her acknowledging that as well. And she didn't put anybody else in the video down, but she was like, I really do respect and love Cardi because she kind of pulls me up as opposed to what a lot of the other shorties can do.
Right. I can't find where she's from.
Well, they're from the South.
Born and raised in St. Louis.
Oh,
Sexy Red makes unapologetically raw rap music.
That's lit. The only other artist I know from St. Louis is Nelly.
Right. And I think a lot with those artists is like, and not to like, like label them or anything, but like they be talking about that hoe stuff, like that hoe, like that's what Cardi was on. Cardi came out with that.
So
City Girls co-signed on that.
Let's talk about it. There's a video clip I want us to watch.
Okay.
About what rap music has done to the music industry.
Okay.
Let's get into it, Solomon.
Women been singing their pain for as long as there's been music. Women voices let the world know exactly what hurt them and why. But in rap, the women stopped singing. And without their voices to anchor their truths, the women were just to be slapped and our hoes to be passed around. Rap was about rage, not beauty. Rap hated most women because it had to hurt somebody, and it did.
Yeah.
Woo! So, I don't know if you know, but that is an excerpt from the movie not Straight Outta Compton, Surviving Compton.
Okay.
And it is that is supposed to be Michel'le. Actually, the older woman in the movie is actually Michel'le. And she, if you heard her songs, you would know exactly those songs. Mm-hmm. She is a phenomenal singer. She was a part of NWA, essentially, their come up, and she was the ex-wife of Dr. Dre. Okay. Or not ex-wife, I think girlfriend. Either way, she dated Dr. Dre, and then through her relationship with him, she ended up heavily into drugs, and she wanted to go to rehab, and Suge Knight actually paid to send her to rehab, and they ended up getting together. But I play that video to kind of highlight, is rap music the problem
Yes.
here?
Like, yes.
Period?
Yes,
Like,
because
yes, but, or yes, and?
yes, and right. Yes, and because I feel like it is so influential and people are so addicted to culture. Like people are like the culture, like the culture is not the kingdom, honey. And so, yes, the culture is not the kingdom. And so like I mean, it goes back as far as Little Kim. Like when I listen to Little Kim's music now, I am like, oh my goodness, this is
This
just
is what we was
the way
listening
she
to.
talking and stuff. And I don't really know if that's because a lot of, well, it's probably because a lot of men are coming in and talking about women's vaginas and women's asses and women's attributes and all these
wasn't it
types of.
on the Notorious B.I.G. on the movie? It showed how Biggie was like, nah, you need to talk about this. You need to do this.
Right.
You need to highlight,
So
talk
yeah,
that shit.
well, a lot of people like, it's provocative. It keeps the people going. Like it is provocative because people love to live in that, which what I would call like your flesh.
Mhm.
People love to live in that, and it feeds your flesh a lot.
Yeah.
And so it's addicting to listen to, it's addicting to watch, and I feel like it has really corrupted the way that we view ourselves and we view our bodies. Like if we're going back to body shaming, I mean just big butts and big lips and all these things were
Koi literally just exists and makes good music.
Yeah.
And she has been torn down since the day she came to the forefront.
Why? Because she's skinny?
Because
why all rap bitches gotta be have fat asses?
And
like,
listen, and we're talking about how Black China, we're demeaning and degrading and bashing Black China and all the other women for getting their bodies done. Now they're undoing their bodies and they're getting bashed again.
And well, it's okay because it is the revival, and we are glad that Black China is taking out the fillers, and we're glad that she's getting that tattoo removed.
And K. Michelle done took out her ass a couple of times.
And so Black China's doing that too, and I love to see that, like, because there is this like I said, a revival happening, and people are coming back to their senses and realizing
natural is getting made fun of, fake is getting made fun of. Like we literally can't win.
We can't even be, and we can't. There's nothing that we can do or cannot do that will not be talked about, especially in the limelight. And I feel like that's just the result of chronic reality TV shows.
Ooh,
yeah.
Ooh,
let's get into it.
We're gonna keep it on music for today.
Right.
But I love some reality TV. We'll get to that another day.
Of course you do, because it's provocative. it makes people act out, and then we have.
Listen, I'm not gonna lie. When I was in high school, my goals was to be on the Bad Girls Club.
It's true.
And when I was in college, my goals was to be on Love and Hip Hop.
But it makes people act. This music, secular music. Let's call it secular music. It makes people act out of character, and that is just like a feeding frenzy for people to watch. Because some people would never act like that, but they'll watch it though.
So honestly, I'm not gonna lie. I have a question after this, but everybody knows Lil Baby's my favorite rapper. And I be rapping like every word that he says. You would think I wrote it. You would think I'm from the West End of Atlanta, and I'm just, I trap hard. Like I really, embody the music that I listen to. But this year specifically, I haven't been listening as much to him or any rap hip hop in general. I've been listening to R&B. I've been listening to gospel and Christian music,
yes,
and island music, because I always want to be on the island.
It is very wholesome. It is very wholesome, and I feel like once you transition yourself and you transform yourself from the inside out, like through Jesus and getting to know Jesus and getting to know God, that stuff is like noise. You'd be like, I don't want to hear that anymore.
It's like the same thing that we said last time about how like when you turn on the TV and all we get is BMF and Dahmer and Snowfall and everything else, guns, like sensory overload.
Video games,
Overload.
and then they're putting rap music on the video games.
Girl,
which is
tell me Los Angeles is not GTA.
It
Grand
is.
Theft Auto San Andreas.
It
I was
is.
playing it when I was 9 years old with my uncles. Like
Yep.
it's real life LA.
It really is.
So my question is, it's Mental Health Awareness Month.
Yeah.
Does rap, specifically rap and hip hop, have a negative effect on our community's mental health?
Yes, period. And
yes, period and period.
because there's a lot of lies from the enemy in rap music. Like
cap.
Like, you know what I mean? Like we're talking about females, and the females they have this platform now, so they're out here just drawing, saying anything. They're like, oh, for 15 years they was saying fuck that bitch, so now we gonna say fuck that nigga, like fuck him, milk him, I'm free. Milk him for everything he got, like all that stuff. My little sister said that to me. She said, pass him around, milk him. I was like,
my God.
no way, we're not doing that.
And
so
what Lakia say? She said,
well, I really like Lakia.
I like Lakia as well.
I like
That's
Lakia. I like Mona Leo.
And then also, you know who I love, and I know you know, but you probably forgot.
Who?
I love Queen Naija.
Oh, I already know you love her. She's been Queen Naija's fan since
Queen and The Irrelevant broke up, and she first met Claire Bear just as friends. Listen, me and my shorty Jess, we've been Queen and Claire since Queen and Claire didn't even know they were Queen and Claire. But I really love her because she can do the Michel'le.
Yeah.
She can sing her pain and her, FNF in a beautiful song.
Yeah.
Same thing with Bia. She can talk her in a beautiful, classy way.
Like Janae.
Flex on my ex.
You know what I mean?
In my model ex.
She's very cute. But even sometimes, even with Janae, I'm like, ooh, did she say that?
Because a lot of music, it's
not
in
a bad way,
it's
but
just
like
sex.
Not in a bad way, just more in like it just is like it's like Ariana. Like
it's unexpected.
Ariana says things like, oh, like tonight I'm making deals with the devil. And like when you say it all cute, it sounds all cute, but really no, honey, we can't be doing that. We can't be saying those things. And aside from like the actual music itself, it's the videos.
Yeah.
The video is a little bit off the wall, and in YouTube, like I don't have a kid, so I don't know what the parental advisories are.
Oh my God,
on
it's bad.
it,
YouTube is.
But it's
kids.
not like I can't, like, it's not like they can't find it. Like, say if the mama was listening to music and they gave the baby the iPad. And so then even if the mama put on some kid stuff, it doesn't matter. As soon as that video is over, that kid knows how to swipe down. Yeah. And then there could be this video of, this, and it just looks attractive too, because there's bright colors, right? Mm-hmm. Like the video that we watched with NLE Choppa and Sexy Red. Ooh. Like the image, the click, the icon.
I'm pretty sure that was the song.
It's colorful. It's colorful. There's jewelry. There's like hair. There's costumes, and that's like really easy to click on. And then now we got the little kids shaking booty.
Honestly,
we got the little girls shaking booty.
When I had Isabella, that's our baby sister.
So cute.
When I had Belle in preschool, she was living with me. I was I don't know. I don't remember what song. No, I do. Molly Percocet. Molly Percocet. She would go to preschool and sing this song in preschool.
Yeah.
And no,
I'm glad that you are segueing into this because I wanted to talk about drugs in the as being like highlighted a lot. God. It's like romanticized.
Yeah.
And we can blame I not gonna say blame, but I mean it.
Never blame because you don't have to.
Well, I'm gonna blame him. That all starts
Who are we
like the
blaming?
first junkie rapper that went mainstream
it?
was Lil Wayne.
Okay.
It's true. I mean, he is the first one, and there's so many pieces, so many documentaries out right now that talk about how he's the one who transitioned, and
it's everybody. It's
and that's how, you know, prescription medication became such a mainstream topic. Well, that's not
Rest
how,
in
but
peace,
like,
Juice WRLD.
you know what I mean? It's the prescription.
Yeah.
It's the prescription drugs that is really.
I could think of every single rapper that we listen to, male and female, talking about there's, if not every other song, at least one or two songs where they're talking about it. You know, Lil Baby talk about the lean.
But I was gonna say,
Dirk
Lil Baby also he talks
Lil Baby
about
has
it.
a bigger message.
I feel like he talks about
sure.
it, but he also is taking a lot of that stuff out.
Yeah.
And I feel like he a lot of the time talks about how like for example, he's like, I'm too rich to be smoking them cigs, like, you know, stuff like little one bars like that that really take it away. And like even like someone like Future, like I had such a big
Okay. J. Cole puts out KOD album. J. Cole is my end all be all. I don't know if y'all could zoom into my
cool world
arm right here, but I actually did get to show J. Cole my Cold World tattoo that I designed. But he puts out KOD, and it stands for Kids on Drugs, Kill Our Demons. He made it an acronym so anybody could do what they want. But the whole premise of it was a picture of all these kids and they're completely fucked up on drugs.
Yeah.
And then, but every single song was about a different type of addiction.
Yeah.
It was about drugs. It was about money. It was about sex. It was about cheating. It was about fame. It was about, and at the end of one of the songs, he was like, and the strongest drug of them all, love. And then he's meditate, don't medicate. You know, that album was such a powerful message for the culture that I was in my professional development committee at my law school trying to get J. Cole to come to campus and preach on that album because it was just so necessary. And it wasn't just about drugs. It was about the money. He had an ATM song. It was about the cheating. He had a Kevin's Heart. You know, he had everything on there. And then a couple days, weeks, or months later, Future turns around and puts out World on Drugs.
As if he didn't have a hand in that. Because it's just, the song that you sang was Molly Percocet.
And then Juice WRLD was on that album, World on Drugs. And then guess what? Juice WRLD overdose.
It's crazy.
Come on.
But like, okay, so.
And Mac Miller, rest in peace. He passed away on my birthday. Like, on my birthday. We're
That's
so
from crazy because
Pittsburgh.
he was born around mine.
He was born around your birthday. He's from Pittsburgh. He died on my birthday, and it was an overdose.
Right.
Like, what are, like, the drugs are contributing to the mental health crisis. They're not fixing it.
Right. And I think that that's a lot to say. Like, there's been a lot of debate about Nicki and drugs. And I could think that maybe could potentially contribute to her paranoia.
2 + 2 equals.
You know what I mean? And I'm not saying anything because I have my testimony of my own. And so I'm not anybody's judge, but I am somebody who is coming on the other side of that and healing on the other side of that. All that couldn't have been done without my relationship with God. But on the other side of that, it's just like really pinpointing a lot of things, like a lot of domestic violence issues, drugs.
We're gonna talk about that soon.
A lot of, you know what I mean? A lot of these things are drug induced paranoia, drug induced comas, like, you know what I mean? So I feel like that all needs to take a step back. So with the females, it's like I don't really I do like the club though. So I'm not going to say don't make no club, bangers. But there are so many more things to talk about other than my attributes. And like a big thing is like Are we allowed to say pussy on the show?
I personally don't say that word, so if you want to say it, you can say it.
But like, okay, let's say vaginas. I feel like this is just like an obsession.
punani.
Yeah, there's just like an obsession with the vagina, with the titties, with the ass. There's like this obsession of like romanticizing drugs and alcohol. Like, oh, I took this pill to make me feel like this, and all of that. Like, I think is like we could take that out and still make it hit.
Like, no more munch.
Yeah, like, and here's
I
the
don't
thing.
subscribe to the munch
I
mentality.
really love Ice. I love Ice, and I like the Pink Pantheress, but like, here's my thing. It's like the poses, like, you know, her famous pose.
Yeah.
It is just like,
can we demonstrate for the folks that don't know?
no. But basically, I can describe it. She turns around and she she puts her head towards her toes, and then she puts her middle finger up between her legs. like that. And like, it could be like, okay, there's two sides to everything. So I like the side of the fact that it's like, if anybody's going to talk about vaginas, anybody's going to talk about pussy, it's going to be me, and we're going to talk about how I want to, and this is mine, and I'm going to be the one, and it, you know what I mean? I love
the
that
empowerment
empowerment, the ownership of it. But I feel like you are still sexualizing yourself rather than being empowering. You know what I mean? And I'm guilty of all of these things. So I don't want anybody to be on here talking about I'm a hypocrite or we're hypocrites, because we get it.
But whatever you do gotta say it in the comments so we can come back to it.
Right, yeah, say it in the comments, you know what I mean? And you know what I mean? Say what you have to say, because I'm personally gonna go with the Kardashian method, and I really have to protect my peace, so I'm not going to say anything back to the haters. But
it's okay. We love the Kardashians. We can get into our family breakdown another time. But if we're being honest, I don't think that it's just rap music or female rappers. I think there's also a bigger picture of women just being nasty towards other women and tearing down other women. But I did forget my little story. Rap bitches versus their own fans. The reason that this is the title of the show, I was at a record label industry mixer party.
You know, one of those little LA
I think
things.
It was last year. And I was having a great time, and this song came on, and it was a very like particular song like that doesn't get played outside. It was an R&B song, but it had a famous rapper on it. And I'm just like, oh my God, I love this song. Why are they playing this in here? Oh, it must be one of the artists for this label. That makes sense.
Yeah.
And, you know, right before that, these girls had come into the section that I was in, that I was in, that I was already sitting at, that I was there. It was my section. Okay. And they come in and they're just, and pushing and shoving and get out of my way, and this is mine, and like
we experienced that a little bit at Dragonfly.
Exactly. And I'm just like, I don't fuck with you.
Yeah.
And come to find out, I put two and two together. This favorite song of mine is this shorty that just disrespected me. So now I'm not gonna listen to your song anymore.
Yeah.
Now you lost a fan.
Boycott.
So if you're a pretty rapper, don't you think your fan base is pretty?
Right.
So don't you think you should be nice to the ones that are around you? Because I could have never heard her music before, and I could have became a fan. But I was already a fan because I've been singing this song on repeat for weeks and months. And I'm happy that it's playing on in the club, and I'm singing every word, not knowing that you're the rude woman next to me who just ruined my night.
Yeah.
You know, so that kind of goes back to what Meg was saying about how the fans fuel the thing. Because what if I was one of those fans and I went to Twitter like, this ruined my night. She's rude. I don't like her. Don't stream her music, you know? And I could have fueled a Twitter beef or whatever that they do. And I just think, again, women versus women. Like, men beat us down all day. Society beats us down all day. Why are we not uplifting each other? Like,
Yeah.
the bigger picture is women versus women. Like,
Yeah.
what do we do here?
Well, I think that this all goes back to like we are in a very, very like self-absorbed and selfish generational time in history where everybody is just focused on um making a way from themselves, and that comes from a poverty mindset, right?
Crab in a
Because
barrel.
yeah, a lot of people are advancing and like minority families, and there's a lot of work that's been done to get a lot of people where they are, but they always go back to like thanking and worshiping themselves, and there's that concept of like oh, I'm self-made, which completely negates the whole team that works their booties off to put everything that you do together.
If you do not have a team in this industry, baby, you're not gonna be in this
Yeah, it just
industry
doesn't
for
make any sense.
long.
And like, everybody wants to be that girl. I'm that girl. Like, and so
I'm the queen.
yeah, that there's that. You know what I mean? It's really ironic. There's that whole narrative of people wanting to be the best and the baddest.
But there's room for
And
everybody.
yeah, there is room for everybody, but that doesn't go away from like things that were like that people have meditated on. Like, I want to be that. I'm gonna be the baddest.
Yeah.
People meditate on good things, but also people meditate on things that are not holistic
Bad,
and
yeah.
and that are not good for you. So.
Lil Baby said, "It's enough money in here for all of us.
Well,
I'ma
yeah.
still post your music."
You have to
You
have to have that in your mind that there's enough to go around for everybody, but that's what I mean by poverty mindset. Like, people they think that there's a scarcity of a lot of resources.
Yeah.
And so therefore they
scarcity
act
mindset.
accordingly. And
Mhm.
a lot of people in Los Angeles, a lot of females in Los Angeles, I'm very jaded by just because of
It's
how
that same club experience
that
that I
same
just
club
mentioned.
experience, they're so rude, they're so nasty,
And we're sitting here like,
they don't even, and that's my thing. The girls, they don't even want to dance. They don't want to dance. They don't want to mingle. They don't want to talk to people. That's why, as a dancer, like club culture for me is out, and I wish that I was a part of a different generation, because all I really want to do is go dance, because I'm a people that loves people. I want to dance and I want to meet people.
I'm a
But
people that
there's
loves
these
people. I like that.
there's these girls who come get up, dress, you know what I mean? Probably don't even have $20 to their name, if I'm being honest. If I'm being completely honest, because
Yeah, it's a lot of,
you know what I mean?
A lot of shorties acting like they are that, and they sleep in their car at night.
Yeah, it's the girl. It's the like, that's how I know, like, the mean
And
spirited.
there's nothing wrong with that,
Yeah.
but act accordingly. Like, humble yourself.
Well, the mean spirited people are either hurt.
The spirit of Jezebel.
You know what I mean? And there's also another spirit that I wanted to talk about, but we're not even going to get into it. But there's this spirit on Earth right now that of like this sex goddess era that we're very much
Mhm.
in, and that's why like prostitution is normalized in Los Angeles.
Yeah,
Tricking
and
is
in music.
tricking.
Period.
Yeah, tricking in music and all those little types of things. That's why we
Mm.
began to talk about.
That's like
there's
almost
that-
every other rap girl song is about for money.
Yeah, and there's
and
that
not
whole
for free.
that whole like hoe culture. Yeah.
Ding 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 ding. I just thought of something. I was told
Yeah.
by someone above me when I got to this world in this industry that I'm doing life all wrong
Yeah.
because
This is a
I should-
professional. This is
I
a
should
professional
have-
being.
I should have 10 and 20 different men sending me money every week because I'm in my prime and I'm doing life wrong.
Yeah, I know.
And I sleep with people for free all the time. So what is wrong with me?
Here's my thing. There
Excuse me for having morals and being raised by my father.
There's a whole thing of like this we're in a very transactional world.
Everything
Like
is transactional.
the world is a marketplace right now. Like,
especially in LA.
Jay-Z says like, welcome to hell where you are welcome to sell. And that is a very like, even though we ain't gonna get into him because he isn't the most righteous from what I've understand.
Woo. That's another episode.
Yeah, it's another episode. Just in general, though, it's a very transactional society, and that's because people are so selfish. Everybody wants something for themselves. So they're like, I will give you myself because I don't have any, like, people aren't protecting their womb, and they don't really have that, like, value of, like, what it means to exchange. Because you're going to talk about the transaction. The real transaction is the energy exchange that happens between the activity, right? And we're so focused on the superficial thing that it just makes no sense. And every single time you do that, you take apart something out of yourself to the point where you're so messed up in here because you don't have anything else to give, and you don't know what somebody else put up inside of you.
And that's gonna stay.
And it's
there.
You know what I mean? And you have to do a lot of detox and a lot of rewiring. And so just in general, I feel like the biggest takeaway that I could say in this is, like, we really got to pay attention to what we're talking about. We got to really
talking about, what we're consuming,
listening
what we're watching,
to,
eating, watching.
Yeah,
all the senses.
Yeah,
all the senses.
And as soon as you do, you will realize, like, because there's some people who, like, there's so much noise in their head, and that's why the suicide rate is going out of control, because people are just taking
and that's
so
why
many
meditation is so hard, because there's so much up here. You can't shut it off. That's why when you start meditating, you have to practice and practice and practice, because it's not easy.
But okay, and here's the last thing that I'll say, because I always get, like, people don't even want to talk to me anymore. But the last thing that I would want to say about that is, like, we have to, like, watch, like, the manifestation technique is almost like white witchcraft. Because, like, we're manifesting for things, like, they're just going to, we're talking about the universe, right? Instead of asking our provider, our God, for things. And that's what takes it out of that spiritual practice and makes it demonic. Like, because, you know, you're manifesting, but you don't even know who you're asking from. And you're believing in people for things.
Idolatry.
Instead of believing in God for things.
The devil.
Yeah. And so I just feel like the best that we can do to, like, kind of get control of this narrative is just push a better one and push one that is right.
We have to do it, because I just learned, so there's Gen Z, which you are.
12 to 25.
The Gen after you, I just learned, is called Gen Alpha.
Oh.
So anyone born after, I think it's 2010.
Who's ever not 12. Who's ever under
13 and under. Yeah. We have to get it together for them. Because people are scared about Gen Z. No, I am terrified about Gen Alpha.
Yeah.
Because this is all they're getting. This is all they're seeing.
I actually have a little bit of a different perspective. I actually see hope for them, because I think that we're actually starting to get it right.
We're gonna switch. We're transitioning.
I think that we're actually starting to get it right. You know what I mean? And I see people, like, I follow
that positive perspective.
You know, I see a lot of different things on my Instagram now, because this is how important it is to watch what you consume. Because now I have completely, like, Christian and holistic and healing algorithm completely, and I see people taking the screens away. Yeah. And seeing their behavioral changes in their children. I see people starting to grow their own food a lot more. I see people trying to come to Jesus. I've seen it. There's this spirit and there's this revival that is happening among the people that we should be really excited about. But we should be worried about the millennials and Gen Z, because they are kind of the leaders right now. Yeah. And so it
is literally in our control.
That's why we have to start changing the way that we think, which starts by changing in what we watch and what we listen to, and who we watch and who we listen to,
and how we treat people.
And here's what I want to say.
Don't treat people bad.
Here's what I want to say. There is also, because there are a lot of, like, rap music out there, but there is a such thing as Christian rap. Mm-hmm. There is.
And all that means is what?
You talk about the wisdom of God. No cussing. You can't cuss. No cussing. And you just speak the wisdoms and the truth. I mean, but here's the thing. There's a lot of things that aren't always the most positive. Like, remember we were reading The Wrath of God. That's not the most positive thing, but it is something that people need to be aware of. So just the principles that come from that big book. that, no one wants to read anymore. No one, not just they don't want to read that big book. They don't want to read it all.
And we do also, shameless plug, we host our own Bible study
We
on
do. Mondays on Mariposa.
If you're in Los Angeles, all are welcome to come. We've started with the book of John.
Yep.
And we're going to we're just going to be there every Monday.
And we're beginners. Like I want to say, like, we're not beginners in believing Jesus to be our savior. We are beginners in
deep diving into the
actual, the scripture.
Yeah.
And so even if you are new or you never thought about it or you want to know more or you're interested, I would definitely tap in to that resource, because that's what I'm saying. We have to give those resources to people so they're not, because these are the biggest,
build your church.
These are the
build
biggest
church.
Women in pop culture, which everybody believes. These are the biggest women, and I don't know if they're putting out the best messages.
Right message, yeah.
So there are other women doing the work.
For me personally, I think my end game here is, you can talk about your body, you can talk about whatever you want to talk about, but let's not perpetuate hate. There is no more room.
Yeah.
What did you say before? Bullying is so 2010.
It's out.
It's out. It's out of style. Where we wanna build people up. We want to uplift our brothers and our sisters. We want everybody to succeed.
Yeah.
Cut the haters out.
Yeah, and like you don't when we're talking like for example, when we're talking about our bodies, we don't necessarily have to talk about the attribute of the body. We could talk about nourishing the body.
Oh.
You know what I mean? We could talk about putting the good things in, and I'm not saying the good things are silicone.
Oh.
Okay.
I'm gonna check out to that combo. But
I guess I didn't mean to go there.
Yeah, it's fine. Another episode. We got like 12 new episodes out of this one, but I just want to say thank you, Sissy.
Of course.
For coming on this journey with me. Again, Nina, you are very much appreciated. And again, professional dancer, professional choreographer.
Nail artist.
She does everything.
Yeah.
And again, she is the reason why I decided to venture into this entertainment industry with my legal career. So thank you for joining us.
Of course. Thank you for having me. I love to be a part of such a project, and I love to be called on to talk about this topic.
Yes. And I don't want it to be rap versus anyone. I don't want it to be anyone versus anyone. I just want everyone to just love each other and just be happy. Happiness is a choice.
It is.
Love is a choice. I love you.
I love you.
And I'm happy to be here.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
Let us know in the comments what you want to hear next, or what you want us to talk about from what we talked about. Subscribe to the Royalty Room. We are on Castos, royaltyroom.castos.com. We are The Legal Queen on all social media platforms, and we're available on every podcasting platform that you can find. So, honey, you don't have a reason not to listen, but we want to know what you thought. So, thank you, and we'll see you again in 2 weeks.